You've always been the smart one, the kid who asked too many questions, who read ahead, who argued with teachers, not to be annoying, but because you actually cared about being right. People started calling you the future lawyer before you knew what a lawyer even was. It sounded impressive, strong, important. Like you'd be the one standing in court, fighting for justice, wearing a suit that actually meant something. So you leaned into it. Debate team, mock trial, honors classes. Every time someone said, you'd be a great lawyer, you smiled a little harder. It became your identity. You got good at arguing, at structuring your thoughts, at never showing when you were unsure. You learned how to win the conversation, even if you weren't totally right. And people praised you for it. Teachers, parents, counselors. They said you were made for this. But they didn't see what it felt like to never be allowed to be wrong, to carry the pressure of always having to prove something, to always feel like you're being watched for the next smart thing you're supposed to say. That's where it starts. You pick a major that looks good, you build a resume that's impressive but exhausting. You skip sleep, skip breaks, join every club, get every internship, because the goal isn't happiness, it's law school. And once you decide that, everything becomes about getting in. You study for the LSAT like it's your whole future. You don't even know what's waiting on the other side. You just know you have to make it. Everyone's been expecting it, you've been expecting it, you put too much into this to turn around now. And when the acceptance letter comes, it's relief, not joy. You don't celebrate. You don't even breathe. You just say, okay, now it really starts. You think the hardest part is over. It isn't. You don't realize you've just signed up for 3 years of reading, arguing, and feeling like you're falling behind even when you're ahead. You haven't even stepped foot in a courtroom and already you're exhausted. But you can't stop, because this is who you're supposed to be. You're the lawyer, the one who never breaks, the one who never shows weakness, the one who always finds the right words, even when nothing feels right. You keep pushing, you keep reading, you keep nodding along when people say, you're going to be amazing at this. But deep down, part of you already knows. You haven't even started and something already feels off. Law school doesn't feel like school, it feels like survival. From day one, you're behind. Everyone's smart, everyone's competitive, everyone already knows the system, or at least pretends to. You sit in class with your laptop open, pretending to follow the reading, but your heart's pounding, because any second now the professor could call your name. Cold call, that's what they call it. They pick a student at random, and you have to explain the case, the holding, the logic, and the difference between two words that sound the same but mean everything in law. If you mess up, the room goes silent. You hear the shift of chairs, someone clears their throat. You feel small. It happens again, and again, and again. You learn to act like it doesn't bother you. You learn to pretend like you're fine, you smile, you say, interesting point when someone disagrees with you. You try not to fall apart. You read hundreds of pages each week, court cases from 100 years ago, footnotes that feel like mazes. You don't remember what normal reading feels like. You don't remember what free time feels like. All you know is the next case, the next brief, the next outline you're supposed to make, even though nobody told you how. You stop sleeping, you stop socializing, you stop saying, I don't know. Because in this place, not knowing is weakness. And weakness doesn't get internships. Weakness doesn't get law review. Weakness doesn't get hired. You hear people say things like prestige and white shoe firm and big law like it's some kind of secret code. You nod like you understand. You pretend like that's what you want too. The debt piles up. Each semester, another loan, another signature, another few $1,000s added to a number you try not to look at. And the worst part? You don't even know if you like this. You haven't practiced law, you haven't helped anyone, you haven't been in court. All you've done is argue about arguments. But everyone says this is what you have to go through. It gets better. It's worth it. Just keep going. So you do. You go to outline sessions. You go to review groups. You memorize rules and exceptions to those exceptions. You learn how to write like a robot. You learn how to sound confident even when your stomach is flipping. You learn how to play the game. And when finals come, you sit in a silent room, typing as fast as you can, praying your answer sounds smarter than you feel. Then you wait for a letter grade, a curve, a ranking that decides everything. You get your results. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. Either way, you don't breathe. You just move on to the next semester. Because in law school, nobody really wins. You just try not to lose. You graduate, you pass the bar, you get the job. It's supposed to feel like winning, like you made it, but it doesn't. You're an associate now, a junior, a small name in a long hallway, a fresh body in a big machine. You get a desk, a firm email, and a calendar that fills itself whether you want it to or not. Your first few days are a blur. Orientation, forms, passwords. Then the emails start. Partners dropping projects on your desk with no warning. Deadlines you didn't see coming. Instructions that assume you know everything, even though no one's explained anything. You're told to just figure it out. So you stay late. You reread the rules. You dig through folders looking for examples. You drink coffee until your hands shake. You don't ask questions because you're afraid to look stupid. You smile through panic. Every task takes longer than it should. And every task feels like it could end your career if you mess it up. You learn to bill your time in 6-minute chunks, not hours. 6-minute units. You type faster. You think faster. You even pee faster. Because every minute matters. But no matter how hard you work, there's always more. Weekends? Gone? Evenings? Optional. Vacations? If you take one, you better bring your laptop. Because the work never stops. And if you fall behind, someone else will catch up. You start to feel like a machine. Wake up, commute, log time, stay late. Log more time, sleep 4 hours, repeat. You watch the clock constantly. Not for breaks, but to make sure you're billing enough to keep your job. If you don't hit your numbers, you're not working hard enough. If you go over, they say you're inefficient. You try to stay afloat. Try to be polite. Try to be invisible until you've earned the right to be seen. Then the calls start coming at midnight. The emergencies. The quick questions that turn into 3-hour marathons. You're not allowed to unplug. Not really. You start waking up tired, not sleepy. Tired. In your bones, you feel like you're carrying someone else's deadlines on your back. And you are. You write memos that no one reads. You research cases that don't get used. You prepare arguments for meetings you don't get invited to. And then you get feedback. But it's vague, rushed, or just plain harsh. Too long? Too short? Make it better. That's it. You eat at your desk. You miss birthdays. You cancel plans. And when someone asks how it's going, you smile and say, busy. Because busy sounds better than broken, you remind yourself this is temporary. Just pay your dues. Just get through the early years, but every day feels longer than the last. At some point, the job changes. You're not the scared new hire anymore. You're experienced. You've survived. You know how things work. But now there's a new question hanging over you every day. Are you getting closer to something, or are you just stuck? You've been doing the work for years. You've stayed late, hit the targets, smiled at the clients, fixed mistakes before anyone noticed. And now you hear the word partner. It sounds like a goal, like the finish line, but it's not. It's another race. Longer, quieter, filled with games no one told you the rules for. It's not just about doing good work anymore. It's about being liked, about getting the right clients, about saying yes when you want to say no. You start noticing who gets pulled into the important meetings, who gets invited to lunch, who gets mentioned when the partners talk behind closed doors. You thought it was about talent. It's not. It's politics. You try to play along. You attend the happy hours even when you're dead tired. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You nod when you want to speak. Because you're not just working now, you're auditioning. You watch other associates burn out. Some leave, some break down, some just stop caring. You keep going, but the cracks are showing, your health takes a hit. You stop sleeping through the night. You stop dreaming. You don't even know what you'd do if you weren't here. And deep down you wonder, do you even want to make partner? Because the ones who do, they look tired. They look stuck. They talk about golden handcuffs, about how hard it is to walk away after everything you gave up to get here. You run the numbers in your head. You think about your loans, your resume, your reputation. You wonder if you're trapped by the very thing you thought would set you free. The panic creeps in. What if this is it? What if this is all it ever becomes? And even if you do make it, even if you get the corner office, the title, the name on the door, what do you get that you don't already have? More work, more pressure, more expectations. No one tells you how much it costs to chase something for so long that you forget why you started. You spent years chasing this. The grades, the exams, the interviews, the job. You followed every step like a map. And for what? A title? A desk? A life you barely recognize? You know how to speak in court. You know how to write a perfect email. You know how to explain a complex issue in plain language. But when someone asks how you're doing, you freeze. Because the truth doesn't fit in a soundbite. You've given everything to this job. Your energy, your time, your weekends, your peace. You've worked through sickness, through heartbreak, through exhaustion so deep it feels like drowning with your eyes open. And still, you show up. You keep pushing even when your name isn't on the front of the case. Even when your client forgets to say thank you. Even when you win and it doesn't feel like a win. Because somewhere inside, you still care. You care about the words, the fight, the feeling of knowing your argument was the reason something changed. You care about the small wins, the quiet ones, the ones no one else sees. You remember the kid who wanted to do something that mattered, and even if it's buried under bills, pressure, and late nights, that kid's still in there. You've learned how to carry other people's problems. You've learned how to show up when it's hard. You've learned how to keep your voice steady even when your hands are shaking. You've learned how to survive in a world that rarely says thank you. That's why it sucks to be a lawyer, and that's exactly why you never stop showing up.